Well, hey guys, and welcome to another episode on our Tribulation Soldier COMS YouTube and Facebook. And firstly, apologies. At the time of filming this video, I've been up doing Emily's horse stables, building stables for Emily's horses on the horse grazing field. I'm just sort of not long back in, so I'm still a wee bit dirty and all sorts of things. I'll try and straighten myself out. But this, guys, is basically sort of the third phase. I've just been sharing about our pastoral past for the past sort of 20 years, which is very, very important for anyone that's going to listen to our teaching and preaching. You need to know our background, you need to know the good bits, the bad bits, all that sort of stuff, you know. Yeah, so that kind of first phase was all about our training, 2002 to 2009, which included cell church pastoring. Then the next phase, which was 2009-2013, was being youth pastors. After that was assistant pastor and then home church, you know. So a lot of, local church experience. And now we're going to move on to what we're doing now, and of course is the online stuff. So guys, as always, please don't forget to like, subscribe and hit notifications. That'd be awesome, so you never miss a video. Like I always say, our kids, David and Emily, have got their own Birnie Family Fun channels. Well, 3 of them actually. So you've got kids, hope you enjoy that. They just get up with all sorts of things. But for now guys, I'd really like to get through this one. Yeah, so just back in from doing that. It's quite dark, it's quite cold in Scotland. And as some of you might know, I'm obviously still recovering from surgeries that went really wrong, so it takes me a bit longer to do things than it used to, but we're going to get cracking on with that. So yeah, the online stuff, and like I said in previous, we were, the online stuff really started for us in about 2010 when we were youth pastoring. And that sort of ran side by side, with the youth pastoring and got on to the assistant pastor role, home church, and then the things that came after that, And back in 2010, I mean, social media wasn't as big as what it is now, YouTube and Facebook and all sorts of stuff, And I was barely even touching on that. I was building the Christian Back to Basics, the sermons and teachings online with ebooks, and of course the Tribulation Soldier and all that sort of stuff, And, the kids were always wanting me, the kids and the youth, they're always wanting me to get on Facebook and get onto YouTube and stuff like that, and I really just wasn't all that keen, I had to say, I was quite happy sort of with the way things were, and I had enough building to do in that, Then in 2013, we moved on to be the assistant pastors in a church that was a bit more local to us, And I sort of knew anyway, that's probably about as far as I can go when it comes to local church pastoring. Being an assistant pastor is a bit different from being a youth pastor, and being a senior pastor isn't really the best idea if this is where the area you come from. And if you've listened to any of our testimonies, you'll see, we've got quite a past in this area, and it's just not a good idea. But during that assistant pastor years and of course the home church years, I was really getting into forums, in chat rooms and all these different places, and it was a real learning curve for me. I just wasn't used to all, the laptops and the PCs and just speaking back and forth by text and all that sort of stuff. I was almost so used to preaching and teaching, and you can see people's faces, you can sense the spirit, you can, it's just so much more, So having to learn this new thing was really quite difficult for me to begin with, And I have to say, I didn't shower myself in glory. I have to say, a lot of you guys will know out there that forums and message boards and that can really be places for a lot of arguments, And when you're talking about Christian stuff, people can be very, very passionate indeed, And I didn't cover myself in glory very well, I got sucked into a few arguments, and I think in a lot of ways I was just being really immature and a bit unprofessional, really, but this was the training ground. This is how you learn. But of course, as time went on with all this technology, all this social media, it just ramps up and takes off, to where it is today, where YouTube and Instagram Reels, Facebook Reels, all these things. Facebook business pages are now just like a big website by themselves, Never mind just your website. You know, these Facebook pages are really quite complicated, actually. So really in about 2017, when the home church stuff was sort of coming to an end, that was me really kind of pushing in now and doing YouTube videos, you know. I really started doing motorbike vlogs and stuff like that, you know. I really didn't get cracking into the preaching and teaching just yet. You know, doing those sort of funsy videos are a lot easier, you know, and I thought I'll just keep pushing forward like that. So of course at the end of 2017 I went in for a hernia surgery, and it went really wrong, went septic, almost died. Had to go back for the corrective surgery in 2018. And a big mistake was made there. I was in a breathing machine and in hospital for weeks, brain injury, all sorts of stuff, and basically been recovering from that ever since. So I kind of get a bit tired of sharing that same story, to be honest with you, you know. But it did colour those years. Of course it does. It colours the years just now, you know. But I still had to crack on and build this online ministry, you know. And I'd really got my footing in good with Facebook and Instagram and all that sort of stuff that was coming along, you know. But I really started to begin to meet Christian pastors, missionaries, evangelists from, you know, rural and remote areas from around the world, like in India and Pakistan and South America and things like that, you know. So instead of being on forums and sort of arguing things and all sorts of things, you know, it's really getting some major fellowship with these people, you know, which are now very close friends, like family. And during that time, you know, I got to see their ministries. You know, you see people's ministries in such a different way. When you've got Facebook, you've got videos and photos and you're chatting back and forth and stuff like that, you know. And before long, I was really getting connected with quite a few. And of course, you know, during this time, guys, you know, I was either in hospital or at home, you know, recovering from surgeries and things like that. You know, I was still doing videos and various things, but I had quite a bit to go. But in many ways, that kind of gave me that real bond with these people, you know, and it was really quite something. And as time went on, I just saw this opportunity. I just saw this, it would been God impressing it upon me, of course it was. But I saw this real opportunity that, you know, we could really help, financially that is, these ministries in these areas, you know. And when I found out, you know, that 30 or 40 pounds a month could basically feed a pastor, his wife and 2 kids for a month, I just thought we have got a real opportunity here, you know, a real ministry opportunity here. And I was just blown away by their ministries, you know. I just so blown away. It's so great, you know, when your life changes again, you know, you grow and you move forward, you know. And I was seeing these guys do, and just for those of you that might not know, these guys were doing the purest part of God's word and God's heart, you know, taking care of widows, orphans, older people, poor people, you know, feeding and all sorts of stuff, you know. And it seemed like they all had their own little sort of unique ministry, you know. Some were really towards the kids, you know, the orphans. Others were about, you know, hospitals, visiting in hospitals and various things like that. And as the months rolled on, I just got more and more excited about this possibility of ministry. So of course, you know, the tribulation soldier is the main ministry for us, you know, and you know, the teaching and preaching and all that sort of different things, you know. But this really started coming through. And it was about this time where I really started sort of more pastoring online now, you know, because we're connecting with these people and becoming extremely good friends. They're just like family now. I'll share more about them in the future, you know. But I realised that, you know, we could make a real difference and this is what we could do. And of course, you know, that's a bit of a minefield in itself, that, you know, especially with Facebook. You know, a lot of people who weren't really genuine as well, you know. You had these extremely genuine ones though, you know. And there was others, you know, the other ministries that I could see that their heart was in the right place. It didn't look like they're a calling in their lives, but they basically seeing this as a way to sort of make money and make a living, you know. And goodness me, it's, you know, it's perfectly understandable. But for this, we needed the genuine article, you know. And it's strange how, you know, the experience that you go through in life can really, you know, make such a difference in others. And I found that during that time, I really began to see who were the real thing and who weren't, you know. During that whole time of me being ill, there was a group of them that would speak to Sharon almost every day, pray for us. They were fasting for us, you know, so close, even though we weren't giving them any money yet or anything like that at all. The genuine article, it really was quite something, you know, when you take that thread out, you know, because really from 2018, end of 2018 onward, that was it for me. You know, it was all surgery recovery, brain injury recovery, really quite difficult. And these guys stuck by me throughout all that time, really gave me their trust, you know, really believed in this ministry that God had really given me. And I thought the best way I can sort of give back to them at the moment is to pastor, is to help, you know, is to do what I can. But that was always difficult actually, because they were doing this pure ministry. We live in the Western world. We've got money and various things like that. They came from areas where there was real poverty and real need. And I'm just still the same now. I find it difficult to pastor. I find it very difficult to be that in that position, because they are so amazing, guys. I mean, they really are. And I'll be sharing loads of ministry videos about them in the future. But during that time, of course, as well, you know, I had the opportunity to minister to people online. And like I said, you know, pastoring online was difficult for me at first, you know, because you're texting back and forth. You can't see the person's facial, you know, face reactions or body language or anything like that. So it is quite difficult. And that took quite a bit of time for me to begin to learn and really get a sense of, you know, so that I could really help people that came to me with their issues, you know. And it was all training, of course it was. And I was there to bless people. But it took a lot of experience. It took a lot of time for me to really tune into that. And I think many pastors that do online stuff probably feel exactly the same way. It's a real big learning curve from standing up and preaching and teaching. So I think it was possibly just after the second hospital job in the start of 2019 that I really started doing prayer, teaching and sermon videos. And of course it wasn't all that easy with having the brain injury. It's not even that easy today, you know. You know, you still have to sort of really think about various things that I never had to think about before. I just do it the way that it was. But I really started pushing forward with them, and I really thought, you know, that prayer is one of the most important things in the Christian life, you know, and prayer videos is what I really want to do. And also teaching videos, the doctrinal stuff, you know, the breaking everything down, the original Hebrew and Greek and all that sort of stuff for people that like that stuff, you know. And also the real sermons, you know, the real passion, the real issues and, you know, the way, you know, the way a pastor does things, you know, really showing the heart of God and the mind of God, just this amazing thing, you know, the Christianity, just this hugely exciting thing, you know, where I could really let loose and do that. And that was a learning curve, you know. Again, I could stand up in front of 1,000 people or 10,000 people. It's never really bothered me, you know. But here you are, sitting in front of a camera. There's no one around me. And I'm just preaching into this little thing like I'm doing just now, you know. And that took a bit of time too, you know, because you're listening to the sound of your own voice. You're sort of all by yourself. You're just sort of looking into a camera, you know. But what I found was that I actually began to feel like I was just talking to one person. It really felt like it was so good, you know. It was just like this. You felt like you were just one-on-one, because although maybe 1,000 people are listening to that message, you know, there's still individuals in individual places, you know. And that's the part that really began to work for me, you know, when I really started to see that I started to see that, you know, looking right through to that other one person at the other side of this camera, you know. And it really began to make sense to me, you know. It really began to just give me a passion for it. And that's what you need, you know. You need that as a Christian pastor. You need that passion, you know. You need to be excited about what you're doing and really believe that you can help people. So it was a real progression, you know. You come back to God in 2002 in a complete mess because you've screwed up the past 16 years of your life, you know. And He welcomes you back with open arms. And you know, you have to spend the next 7 years training, you know, to be in the ministry. And of course, during that time, God had to deal with a lot of rubbish. You'll see our testimony videos that I've done beforehand. You know, the drugs, the drink, and the womanizing, and all that sort of stuff. You know, but then you know you get your youth pastor role. You know, in 2009, 2012. You know, which was just awesome. And then moving on to the assistant pastor role, home church role, now the online role. You know, it has been a real learning curve. And I have to say, you know, when it comes to the online stuff, it's never me. You know, way back, this is just never me. But it's just amazing how God actually changes you over the years, you know. And one of the things that I've been so amazed by is that how wrong I've been over the years. I mean, really wrong, you know, just with what I think I want, you know. Before the youth, I would never have thought of working with youth and young adults. That would have been one of my last. And the youth know that. Would have been one of my last, you know. Absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it. It's almost like saying God was right, you know. God was right. And then, of course, you know, you come to this sort of online stuff. And I had no interest in Facebook or computers or any knowledge in PCs. It just didn't appeal to me at all. I mean, it really didn't. And now look, you know, here I'm sitting recording sermons, really enjoying it. So that's basically, I mean, guys, you know, there's a lot in those years, you know. That's basically how we moved forward into the online stuff, you know. And of course, you know, you've kind of got to move forward with this with the blessing of the church you're a part of at the time, you know. And we were given that, which was awesome. We're given that freedom to really get out there online and really explore and really move forward and make our mistakes and get experience and all that sort of stuff, you know. And of course, at the moment, you know, because we are still building this online platform, I'm not really pastoring as such, you know. Of course, you know, support a saint guys, you know, the people we're connected to, the partners and all that. Of course, you know, I'm fellowshipping with them as Christians, you know. I'm accountable to them, which is another thing that's very important, as I am accountable to them. They keep me to account, you know. It's really good to have that. It's good to have those friendships. So really at the moment we're sort of at that beginning phase, you know, where we're really finding our way forward, where we're doing our prayer, teaching, sermon videos like I'm doing just now, you know, and moving forward with that. And the real hope is, you know, guys, that I'll be able to share some really amazing sermons, do some amazing teachings, you know, that I'm sure you'll thoroughly enjoy. You know, there's one thing, you know, one thing about me is I can't doubt myself. I can doubt God, but I do not doubt the Bible. The scriptures, I've absolutely no doubts whatsoever about what I've been taught and what I share, you know. That's why I've got such a passion for it, has to be said. So yeah, so on this one I really have to leave it almost open-ended, because we're not obviously there yet. We're obviously not moving forward and really going to see what that's all about. But God's took us all the way here. Hopefully you can see that, you know, that He's took us all the way to where we are today. And I'm really excited about that future. And you might wonder about us, obviously, you know, what we actually do. Well, we're actually still a part of the church that we were saved in, baptized, and married in, which is just awesome, you know. Obviously, it's moved on a lot since then, a different building and whatnot, you know. But it's very important, you know. David and Emily do their Sunday school bit, you know. Me and Sharon basically just go there to fellowship and, you know, worship God and various things like that, you know. You know, I certainly found doing the online stuff that I couldn't do both. I couldn't seem to do the local church pastoring and this at the same time, you know. What I found with local pastoring was that I got so involved in these situations, which I would, you know, to help people, to, you know, to really give them advice and bring them through these various situations, that I couldn't do both. And I had to really learn that as well. To sort of learn to let go, to, you know, trust, you know, obviously, you know, trust that, you know, there's people in positions in our area that are more than capable. You know, they don't really need me, you know. But guys, it is very important that we are part of that church. It's very important that we are accountable. That is hugely important, guys. That I'm not just, you know, that me and Sharon just aren't, you know, just lone rangers. We're not. You know, that's absolutely not true. I'm still qualified as a pastor through the Association of International Gospel Assemblies. You know, so I've got my certificate and my pastor card and all those things, you know. And I've always retained them, even though we're online, because, you know, having a pastor card gives you that opportunity to visit hospitals, for example, which is huge. With a pastor card, you can go to hospitals at any time and visit people and, you know, see people. And, you know, I've always held on to it for that, you know, for those sort of things. But also is for the credentials for doing this, you know. Because it is important, guys. It is really, really important that you see our past, you see where we've come from, you know, that God's moved us through, that we've went through all these different things. Again, I never put it as like stepping stones, you know, as though it was just stepping stones in our career. It's not true. I was well set to be a youth pastor for the rest of my life, I can tell you, you know, I really, really tell you. But obviously we love our local church, you know, we've got our friends that have been there for a very, very long time. There's people there that knew me when I was 5 years old, you know, and there's people that will come to me, especially the Support of Saint guys. They aren't afraid to tell me if they think I'm going down the wrong road. And I'll tell you, you need that in life. You know, anyone needs that in life. You know, you need to have people around you that'll tell you it straight. You know, that aren't scared to sort of upset you or whatever. You know, you need that. You need to be accountable. And I like having that around me, you know. And of course, you know, these guys pray for me. They encourage Sharon. They do all these sorts of different things as we build this really, really big technical ministry, you know. Yeah, so now, guys, we basically have, you know, the Tribulation Soldier ebook series, which is 16 books, all interlinked together. We've got 4 books available already, 4 ready to go after that. And, you know, we're building that Support a Saint as a means to give them the finances they need. We've obviously got now 7 YouTube channels. It sounds like a lot, but it's not really in a lot of ways. You know, the 3 channels are, 3 of the channels are for kids. Birnie Family Fun, Birnie Family Fun Shorty Shorts, and Birnie Family Fun Gaming. That's my kids, Dave and Emily. Then you've got our Birnie Family channel, where we do motorbike vlogs and Scottish castle tours, DIY, all that sort of stuff, you know. And we're just building our Birnie Family Live at the minute, which is really cool. So it's taken a little bit at the time of filming this video. And of course, we've got the Tribulation Soldier YouTube channel as well. But the one we're really pushing forward now is the Tribulation Soldier COMS, where I do the prayer, the teaching, and the sermons, and share the playlist artists. I'll share that with you another time. That's the part I'm really going to be pushing forward with this year. You know, the time of this video is 2023. To really develop it and find my real way forward with that, you know, so that I can pastor online. And basically, guys, you know, all I'm there to do, I have to say, is just help. You know, I'm just there to help. That's what I want to do. You know, that's what I want to be. I've got a huge passion for God's word, obviously, and I love teaching, I love preaching, I love praying. But you know, there's been nothing like it in this whole 20 years of ministry. Never mind the prophecy and the dreams and all the spectacular stuff. It's just been able to help someone. And I've been in that position before where I've needed help, in a big way. And you know, you want to give that back. You know, you don't want to see people struggling and suffering. You know, you just don't want it. You want to help. And my prayer is that through this ministry, that's exactly what we'll do. So yeah, I rambled on a little bit tonight. You know, I must admit, I was kind of thinking maybe I should have left this video to another night, because you know, I was quite tired after all the joinery work tonight. You know, and it's cold and it's dark and all those things, but you know, it's just got to be done. Yeah, so that's it, really open-ended now, you know, because at this particular point in time, we're not hugely successful, as it were, you know, so we're still moving forward with that. So I'm really excited about where God's taken us. So guys, as always, thank you so much for listening. This might have been a bit of a longer video tonight, you know, but I hope you really enjoyed it. And I'm really hoping that through our testimony series, our qualifications for what we're doing series, that it really builds up that picture, it paints that picture of who we are, so that you can have confidence. You can have confidence in the teachings and the sermons and why we're doing this, what we're doing it for, you know. Hopefully in the future, you know, you'll just see us for what we are, you know, the mistakes we make, the successes we have, you know, all those sorts of different things. tend to try and be as an open book as possible. Obviously, you know, having pastored over the years, there's a lot of situations that are very confidential that I wouldn't obviously share names or dates or things like that. But aside from that, you know, life's a bit of an open book, you know. So, time for bed, I think. Nice cup of coffee, wee something to eat just to get me off. Sharon's already away to bed. She goes to bed much earlier than me. Kids are down normally about 9 o'clock, you know, so they're out for the count, you know, they're really busy kids as well. And I'd love to share more about just who we are and where we come from, guys. But, you know, you can't really go wrong by going on our Birnie Family channel and our Birnie Family Fun channel. And you'll just see me and Sharon, and you'll see David and Emily for who they are. And just hope you really enjoy that. For now, guys, God bless you. Thank you so much for watching.